Hi folks, Mr. Long here. This is video 3 in a series of 4 videos to help you learn how to calculate Riemann sums, which is really just an estimate of the area under the curve, right? So our curve looks, for this one, it's y equals x squared. If I truly wanted to get the area under the curve, the perfect area under the curve would look something like that, right? That would be the perfect area under the curve. But I don't have if I'm just using estimates, right? If I only had data points and I didn't have a nice smooth curve, then I wouldn't be able to do an exact value. So in this case, I'm going to estimate that area with what's called a Riemann sum. Okay, and we're going to do what's called a centered interval. So this, when it refers to centered left side or right side, it's just where did I go about getting the y value, okay? At the left side of the rectangle, the middle of the rectangle, or the right of the rectangle. So in this case, again, we've got, by the way, the area of each rectangle. Oh, wrong type of pen. The area of each rectangle is delta x, that's the base, and then the height is the y value, f at x, right? So it's delta x times f at x. So let's go ahead and do this. I said n, the subintervals is number of rectangles, so that's n equals 3. So that means they're all 2 wide, right? We've gone through all that from previous videos. And there's our 3 rectangles, 0 to 2, x equals 0 to 2, x equals 2 to 4, and x equals 4 to 6. Okay, delta x is 2 in each time. So that means the 3 rectangles, which we're going to call A1, A2, and A3. So now, where do I get the y value from on a centered interval? Well, I get it from the center of the interval, right? Literally. So if I look, the first rectangle goes from 0 to 2. So the left side's at x equals 0. The right side is at x equals 2. So where's the middle? Well, it's at x equals 1. And what's the height there? 1. The second rectangle, it goes from x equals 2 to x equals 4. So I'm going to get the y value in the middle. So that's going to be x equals 3, where y equals 9. So that's going to be the height, right? The y value here, this is your f at x, which is the height of your rectangle. And then the third one goes from x equals 4 to x equals 6. Well, the middle is at x equals 5 with a y value of 25, okay? So now I can, if I want, I can go up and draw the rectangles if I want to. Again, how do I get the y values? Well, the first rectangle goes 0 to 2. The second one goes 2 to 4. The last one goes 4 to 6. Where am I getting the y values? At the very middle. X equals 1. 2 to 4 means I go all the way up to the curve when x equals 3. For the last one, which goes from 4 to 6, I go at x equals 5, and I go there, and I get that y value there. Okay, and that's where my rectangles are drawn. Now, what's interesting here is, I guess the question I would pose to you, are you going to get a more accurate estimate here or a less accurate estimate? Because if we look at this, right, I've got, is that an overestimate there or an underestimate? Well, I think that's an underestimate. And then if I was to shade in this part of it, that's extra. Then again, that's extra. Okay, and then that right there is extra. And I should probably put the yellow in there to show that's an underestimate and an underestimate. So it looks to be better than at least the left-hand or right-hand sum, right? Because I've got overestimates and underestimates, so there'll be some canceling out, okay? But again, a centered sum means this. It means that you're getting the y value from the center or the midpoint x value of the rectangle. Okay, let's do some calculations then. So the first, oh, by the way, all of the rectangles are 2 wide. So A1, the first rectangle, has an area of 2. A2, the second rectangle, has a base or a width of 2. The third rectangle has a base of 2. Then how high is each one? Well, the first one is just 1 tall. The second rectangle, which goes from 2 to 4, has a height of 9 because its y value is 9 at x equals 2, or x equals 3. And then the third rectangle goes from x equals 4 to x equals 6. So what's the middle of that? X equals 5. What's the y value at x equals 5? Y equals 25. So then multiplied by 25. Okay, folks, so then you would multiply that and add it all up. This would be very typical numbers you would see in a non-calculator portion. Again, you should get that total for the centered interval. Okay, and that's that video. We've just got one more to go on with the trapezoid rule.